Good Friday to all of you who are tuning in to today's episode of Real Living in Bridgeport. Welcome to you. For those of you watching today's episode for the first time, my name is Bill, one of your co-hosts, and let me make sure that I can set things up the way that I need to today. 1 second, everyone. And so as I'm doing this, I also want to welcome and get my co-host ready to join me today. And as I know he's getting himself ready, let's do this. Let's get his fan club, get this, his fan club to give him a big cheer and round of applause. Here we go. Watch this. Yeah. These people are his fan club. By the way, these people are either his sellers, buyers, especially that guy in the hoodie. He's funny. So let's do this. Let's welcome Warren Wu into the conversation today. Hello, Warren.
Hi, Bill. Thank you for the warm welcome.
Yeah, that's your fan club, man. You know, all those people that you've helped in the past, especially as I joked about it, especially the guy with the hoodie and the hat.
Right. Funny guy.
Well, hey, don't judge people by what they wear, because you know what? The guy in the hoodie and the cap, those guys typically are like tech guys, right? Technology professionals. Let's get real. They make good enough money.
Right. They do.
Right? They make good enough money. They also may be hybrid, work from home. And guess what they're thinking to do? Just about the time when they call you, they're like, Warren, buddy, I don't like where I'm living now. Help me move. So, yes, that is your fan club for today. Welcome, everyone. For those of you who are tuning in today to join Warren and myself in our episode of Real Living in Bridgeport. And with all of that said, Warren, how are you doing? Since our last episode 2 weeks ago, I know you were under the weather a little bit. You feeling much better?
I feel a lot better.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool beans.
Even though weather is not that great in Chicago right now.
I know.
It feels like winter.
I know. You know, the thing is this, Warren. We started putting away a lot of our winter stuff, you know, the heavy coats. We started putting away, and then, you know, whatever. And as soon as we did that, it's, you know, Murphy's Law. I don't know how to say that in Chinese. I'm sure there's a phrase for that, but Murphy's Law. As soon as we did that, all of a sudden, old man winter banging through the door. All of this snow that was just going at it the other day, right? Terrible.
Right. Yes, I know.
By the way, did someone play any April Fool's joke on you earlier this week?
Yes. My friend told me that they were expecting the usual jokes.
Really?
Yeah.
And you believed it?
No.
No. Okay. All right.
Because he usually does it every year.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. What funny friends you got?
I don't know. They just like to joke about being pregnant.
Now, are these friends no kids right now, or they joked with you because they were joking to the fact that they're adding to the family?
They're adding to the family. He has 3 kids already.
Wow.
So I don't know how he's gonna handle a 4.
Okay. Well, if he jokes enough with you, the reality is that might come true.
Right. Yeah. And then he's gonna need a bigger home, and then he's gonna buy a house, and then he's gonna look for you. I'm gonna refer him to you to get it pre-approved, and then help him expand his house.
Yeah. You know, that is one of the life events that always trigger the need for your service and my service along the way. You know, It's
Right.
either new job, it's the 5 Ds, right? Diamonds, people getting married, diapers or more diapers. So too funny, too funny. All right. I don't know that I would do an April Fool's joke like that on someone. It's don't know that I would joke that way. But anyway,
Right.
let's get back into our conversation of real living in Bridgeport. So, Warren, is the seller's market thawing a little bit? What can you tell us?
I mean, inventory has been increasing a little in the Bridgeport area,
Okay.
but I would say it's still a seller's market depending on the neighborhood,
Okay.
because certain neighborhoods are still receiving multiple offers. A lot of people going to open houses to see properties. So,
Wow.
so yeah, depending on the neighborhood, the market is still pretty crazy.
Okay. All right. So that tells me certainly when you are representing a seller, there's a part of you that thinks and is feeling when you have to do that first open house. Notice how I said that, when you have to do that first open house. If you
Right.
have to, and all of these potential buyer parties are coming over, you're probably sitting there thinking like, okay, let me play the game of which one of these buyers is going to throw down their offer first, right?
Right.
Too much, too much. All right. Well, the fact that it's thawing just a little by little, that's a good sign, because I know you and I have talked about this before. When there is a more balanced market, it's better for us, it's better for sellers and buyers, I think, but
Right.
eventually it'll get there.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Only time will tell. It's hard to predict the interest rate market right now.
I know.
Because the economy is still so strong.
Yes, I know. The funny thing is, on one hand, right, what we read, what we hear from others, the economy is still running with like these strong legs.
Right.
But the funny thing is, on a personal level, I don't know about you, but sometimes on a personal level, it's kind of like I'm scratching my head. Is it that strong? I don't know, right?
Right.
So anyway, let's move our conversation today to another topic. We're going to keep it fun and light today. And that is, Warren, why don't you lead off with my question to you? And that is, what are some of the common misperceptions, misunderstandings from sellers?
From sellers. Commission is a good one. People think that like commission for like a listing agent is a set price, but you can always negotiate
Yeah.
with the agent.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Okay. So do you do the April Fool's joke with those sellers that have that misperception? Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we can negotiate up. No, I'm just kidding. Sellers, for all of you watching, I'm kidding there. Okay, what's another misperception?
Misperception. That listing agents just use their cameras, like their cell phones, to take pictures for listings.
Wow, really? Okay.
But
All right.
I still see a lot of people think that like, oh, do you just take pictures with your camera or like your cell
Sure.
phone, or do you hire like a professional photographer
Yeah.
to do like nice pictures, photos, and like 3D floor plan, or like even nowadays some agents even use drone if you're
Oh, yeah, yeah.
island.
Yeah. I've seen some of the drone video photo stuff. That stuff is amazing sometimes, especially for properties with a lot of land.
Right.
That way you get a bird's eye view, Yep. So why do you think sellers would even question, like, are you using your iPhone to take pictures of my property?
I don't know, because maybe they've hired agents before that does
that
that.
did that?
I,
Okay.
I still see on the MLS that there's a lot of listings that are just using regular camera, or like you could even see the agent in the
The
mirror
finger.
taking pictures. Yeah.
That's too funny. And I don't disagree with you. There have been times where I've come upon properties for sale, not on the some not on the private network. They're openly listed for sale. And yes, I've seen some pictures where, guess what? You have to turn sideways to look at it.
Right. Yeah.
Right? It's so annoying.
Yeah. I mean, we're in the 21st century. People are still thinking it's like in the 80s, where you could still like take horrible photos and market the property.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's when and where either one of your peers chose to not invest some initial dollars in the right way to promote that property.
Right.
But it's kind of like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? All right. What's another misperception from when you represent a seller?
Let's see. Mr. Seller. Good question. Can't think of one right now at the moment.
Okay. All right. Well, let's flip to the other side of some of your transactions. What are some misperceptions of buyers? And by the way, I'll lean in and add a few along the way, but why don't
Right.
you tell me?
That buyers should go directly to the listing agent instead of interviewing or working with a buyer's agent that represents their interests.
Right. I know. It's kind of like, why would you do that? I guess their thinking is, hey, I might get a better deal. Could that be their reason? Right. Okay.
Usually that's the case from what I've heard from people, but
okay.
I mean, they're not representing you, so they don't have your best interest in mind.
True. Let me share with you a buyer misperception that I run into sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
The misperception is the buyer is thinking the earnest money, Bill, or they'll call you first and then call me. It doesn't matter. But they'll say, Bill, Warren, whatever order, earnest money. Is that additional money? And I have to always explain, no, Mr. Buyer, Mrs. Buyer, Mr. Mrs. Buyer, the earnest money, kind of like a security deposit. You got to put it up in good faith, but it is part of your funds at closing. And whenever I encounter that misperception, I always, I don't see it sometimes, because sometimes it's not a Zoom call or a FaceTime call. It's an audio phone call. I feel their like sigh of relief. And I'm like, calm down. It's not additional money. It's part of your funds to close.
Right.
All right. So what could be another buyer misperception you run into?
Inspection. A lot of times, instead of hiring a professional inspector,
right,
they get their friend or relative to come check everything out.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I've had one that just had their like uncle that was like a handyman.
Got it.
So to do a home inspection for them when they were doing like a multi-unit.
Oh wow! Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And so don't name names. We want to keep it clean. Right. So did this handyman uncle, did he do, in your opinion, as complete of an inspection for his family member buyer?
No, they did not.
Probably not, right?
Yeah. Afterwards, my buyer was complaining that there was a lot of things that the uncle missed.
Oh,
and then
wow.
end up spending like a few $1,000s extra.
Really?
Yeah, on
Meaning
repairs.
after they close, they have to spend more
Yes.
money to fix something. Okay. Well, that's an unpleasant conversation to have at like holiday time when uncle shows up, right? I don't know why buyers do something like that, because at the end of the day, you know, something that's always free is not always good.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. Can I share with you another buyer misperception? Okay.
Okay.
All right. This happens probably more on my side, but I'm going to share it with you because maybe you can help reset expectations, or together set the right expectations. And that is a buyer misperception that I sometimes get is, so Bill, once you tell us clear to you are giving us the clear to close, when can we close? And I have to always say to them, I don't control that, especially for what you and I do here in the state of Illinois, because we have our other partners in the transaction, attorneys. They are the ones I always explain to the buyer. They're the ones, especially the seller's attorney, they'll take the lead in looking for when they are available to score a closing appointment, and they'll communicate with your attorney. So, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I can't tell you today. All right.
Right.
Do you want to do another? Any remaining one last misperception from buyer side?
One last one, buyer side. They never know that like the additional after attorney review close, that sometimes you have to give additional earnest money.
Oh, yeah.
On
Yep,
the
yep. I've seen that. I've seen that. I've seen it where I guess how the offer is written, your initial earnest money is like a fraction, and
Right.
then after attorney inspection review, it steps up. So you gotta release the remainder of the total of earnest money, right?
Right.
Okay, good. By the way, what is your preference when you're working with a buyer or seller? It doesn't matter. Is your preference to get earnest money in the form of a physical check, or do you prefer it to be wire transfer? I'm curious.
Well, it depends on the client. Some people prefer like wire because it's easier.
Yeah.
But a lot of the older clients, they probably prefer like a check to drop it off.
Yeah. Well, a cashier's check if possible. If not,
Right.
I guess a personal one. Yeah, a personal one at least. But
Right.
you never know. Okay, I follow you. Thank you for sharing that. So let's wrap up today's episode with one last conversation point, and that is, I'm going to put you in the hot seat, Warren. I'm going to do a little quiz with you, right? And that is, as a real estate broker and as a home owner. So at some point in time, you had to source financing yourself to buy your home, your properties. Which do you think is more important, income or credit?
Ooh. That's a tough choice. I would say both are just as important because you need income, like a good debt to income ratio.
Bingo.
To put down, like to buy a house and to do like a monthly payment.
Right.
And then also good credit for a lower rate. If not, if I have horrible credit, then my rate would be high. And then if my debt to income ratio is horrible, then I'll be living in the streets.
Well, that's true. That's true. So your answer to this question is correct. They're equally important. But my question was kind of a trick question. I said, hey, income or credit, which one is more important? I'm going to lean in and share with you my opinion, if that's all right.
Okay.
My personal opinion is income much more important. And the reason why I say that is because for those of you who are watching today's episode, either as a live stream or as an on-demand recording, indulge me. Think about it this way. If you earn sufficient or just rock star income, you probably are paying off a lot of your debts without it running forward in time. And if you're doing that, your credit profile is going to skyrocket instantly. Right? Okay.
Right.
Second reason why I lean in to say income is a little bit more important. It's because at the end of the day, income is really the driver for you, buyer, for how much you can afford to buy, what I call your maximum purchasing power, and along the way, your maximum borrowing ability. So not intentional to be a trick question. They're both important, but one does matter a little bit more. So as we wrap up today's episode of Real Living in Bridgeport, for those of you who are enjoying this content that Warren and I share with you consistently, if you need to start a conversation with us to help you with your life events, whether it be diamonds, diapers, and if you're adding to the family like Warren's friend doing that April Fool's joke on him, simply scan the QR codes that you see here. Both Warren and I would be glad to start a conversation with you and to understand how we can best help you accomplish your next steps to get to the outcome that you want. So Warren, as I wrap up with you, enjoy your first weekend in April.
Thank you.
And then I will see you 2 weeks out.
Nice. All right. Take care, bro.
That's it for now. Have a good day, everyone.